the club somehow.
Okay, my Stray Dog family, it's time for another edition of Stray Talk, and time for me to wish you all a very pleasant night, St. Kitts and Nevis, and to all in the entire Eastern Caribbean region in particular, and to say welcome to another edition of Stray Talk for tonight, just to say hail up to my Kittitian and Nevision friends and supporters in the diaspora. There are many of you all over the world. There are some of you in Africa. There are some of you in Asia. There are some of you in Europe. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I will say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves, perhaps just relaxing for today. In many areas, it's Emancipation Day, and I can say happy Emancipation Day to all in St. Kitts and Nevis, also to those in the Kittitian and Nevision diaspora. You know, as one writer put it, and I quote, in not too well known wrinkle of history, Abraham Lincoln in 1862 freed approximately 3,000 slaves then living in the District of Columbia before the countrywide emancipation of enslaved peoples all over America. And my Stray Dog family, you know, however, there were many factors or conditions that led to the abolition of slavery in the British colonies. The Emancipation Bill was introduced in the British Parliament in 1822, I believe it was, which stated that slavery shall be utterly and forever abolished, and it was declared unlawful throughout the British colonies and possessions abroad. It was not until the 29th of August in 1833 that the Emancipation Act received royal assent, and so emancipation was to come into effect on August the 1st, 1834. And an order of council enforced it in the Crown colonies, and in other colonies the local legislatures followed suit, and their slaves received complete freedom. So celebrations on St. Kitts and Nevis has traditionally varied, though, and in more particular on Nevis. For over 40 years, the Culturama Festival has taken place. And right after Culturama, this federation is going to move into the most important election in our history. But before I do go into that, I want to really welcome you again, and for those first-timers, just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest. And I am Ian Patches Liburd, and I thank God for giving me this opportunity to be able to communicate with you on this program. It's a program in which we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. I believe I'll be joined by ZIZ anytime now, if you have not been joined by ZIZ already. But Straight Talk as well, it's an inclusive program in that we entertain your calls, we entertain your emails, and for those of you who are so minded to call, the numbers are 646. Get your pen, get your paper, put it in your notebooks. 646-829-6672 and or 869-663-6672. Those are those numbers, one local and one overseas number. But as I was going to say that right after elections, the next few days, the next 4 days, I think to be exact, the Federation will move into, I believe, the most important election in our history. As I've said before, it's going to be the most important election since adult suffrage that gave us the right to vote here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And that right and entitlement, we must take it seriously. So come Friday the 5th, we will go to the polls, and I urge all of you to go early and ensure that you exercise your franchise. Now, this election as well has uncovered strange behavior in many people. I was accosted on Thursday. On Thursday, I was accosted by a young crook. He's a crook by name and a crook by nature. And when one thinks that the Labour Party are already claiming victory, you thought they would rejoice instead of being angry. One can understand the People's Action Movement because from all indications, for all the data that has been collected, the People's Action Movement are on the way out. The People's Action Movement could have been there with the CCM for the next 3 years with PLP. But for some reason, and most people say because of greed and because of the urge for power and to get power right now, they have found themselves wanted. And we have seen, as I said, some very strange behavior in many people. And one such persons, and that kind of behavior has been revealed in, above all people, our living national hero. Now, the National Awards Committee normally considers nominations of persons of merit who are citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. And under the Team Unity administration, a recommendation was approved to it to award the Order of National Hero to one and our first Prime Minister, Kennedy Alphonse Simmons. But in the last 24 hours, the indecency of our only living national hero has befuddled the entire nation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the entire federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It has confused all of us because Kennedy Alphonse Simmons has clearly debased the office of national hero. Now, we understand why certain national awards are given posthumously. We understand by now, and looking at the behavior of the living national hero, we understand why in the past that awards are given to many people after their death, although we hear the talk about give me your flowers while we're living. But the behavior of our only living national hero, the first living national hero at that, we understand why the practice has been in the past to give you such awards when you're dead. Now, Simmons, the only living national hero, as I said, is an angry man. When you listen to him, someone called me last night and asked me if I heard Kennedy Simmons. I said, heard him when? But I don't normally listen to Kennedy Simmons because ever since he was a prime minister, I never ever gave him credit for being a good orator, a good speaker. At the time, even on the opposition benches, everyone would like to listen to the late Liburd. You know, Liburd could talk. But I listened to him. I took some time out and I listened to Sir Kennedy. And I concluded that our only living national hero, as I said, is an angry man. And I reflected because he has made many demands on the public purse over the years, and very, unreasonable demands at that, and most of them were denied. The latest demand he made on the public purse, which was denied by Prime Minister Harris and by the entire cabinet, which included his members of PAM, the 4 members of PAM denied his latest demand to be paid, believe it or not. Kennedy Alphonse Simmons demanded that he be paid $15,000 per month, or the equivalent of a high court judge. And that was denied, so Kennedy Alphonse Simmons obviously seemed to be angry. And when I reflect, even during my time in cabinet and the demands that came from Kennedy Simmons, because he's a living national hero, it's nothing more and nothing less than being a greedy vulture. And I say so respectfully. So in a show of desperation, Simmons has begged those who have left the sinking PAM ship, or the sinking ship of PAM, to come back home. They have left, but they are now on the rocks, and they are asking their supporters, old and young, to come back home. The aspiring leader of this country and current leader of the People's Action Movement violated the constitutional principles and the rule of law by which St. Kitts and Nevis is governed. Recall that he refused to attend the people's business for over 2 months. For over 2 months, Sean Richards, who has been aspiring to become the next Prime Minister, has refused to attend the people's business in the cabinet for well over 2 months, and he must be punished.
The last thing I was told is that the report has been altered and my name has been removed from the report. I went to cabinet and I complained about it again because I said I was told that my name has been removed from the report. But based on reliable information, my name still included in the police report. And I took a decision there and then that until this matter is cleared up, I am not coming back to any cabinet meeting.
Imagine that. He wanted to alter a police report, as his name was in the report that dealt with the debacle at the last lap, when it was alleged that his colleague and former Minister Lindsey Grant actually, as we put it in local parlance, ratted up a police constable, a woman police constable at that. Now, Sean Richards obviously tampered with the course of justice in our land when he called the Commissioner of Police, Hilroy Brandy, and demanded, as you heard him just say, demanded that his name be removed from the police report. On public radio, Richards informed the nation that he received a letter from the Commissioner of Police confirming that he was not implicated in the alleged beating of a police officer by his cabinet colleague, Lindsey Grant. And he said this on public radio some time ago.
I took exception to my report. What I can say to you is I think it was sometime during the course of last week, I received correspondence from the Commissioner of Police.
Yes, he claimed he received correspondence from the Commissioner of Police, and Straight Talk got its hands on that piece of correspondence, and the content of the copy of that letter to Sean Richards, dated April 12, 2022, reads in part as follows, addressed to the Honorable Sean K. Richards, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Public Infrastructure Post and Urban Development, dated 12 April 2022, under the caption, Incident at Las La Bar. And it reads in part, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, many thanks for your letter of 12 April 2022, which I received today. This is the first written correspondence I received from you on the above subject matter. Please be advised that it is not in my authority to alter any statement given to me by any of the officers under my command. Sir, this will be unethical of me to alter any officer's statement. And this was signed by Hilroy Brandy, QPM, JP, Commissioner of Police. But this kind of behavior is not surprising, is at all not surprising to me, my Straight Talk family. And Kennedy Simmons talked about nepotism. But when the Commissioner Brandy, by letter to the son of Kennedy Simmons, denied a request to allow him to import a firearm and 500 rounds of ammunition, Kennedy Simmons appealed to the Minister of National Security, who obviously refused to overturn the decision of the Commissioner of Police. And that did not sit well with Simmons and the hierarchy of the People's Action Movement, who felt that whatever they say goes. And here's what Commissioner Brandy wrote to the son of our living national hero back then in February of 2022. And it reads to Mr. Simmons of Earl Moon Heights, Bird Rock. Dear sir, I refer to your correspondence dated 11th December 2021. Please be advised that I am of the considered view that you have not demonstrated sufficient justification for the granting of a firearm user's license to you. As a consequence, your request to import into the Federation 1.38 pistol and 500 rounds of ammunition has been denied based on your antecedent, beg your pardon, drug conviction. Wow. Read it again. As a consequence, your request to import into the Federation 1.38 pistol and 500 rounds of ammunition has been denied based on your antecedent drug conviction. Cooperatively yours, signed by Hilroy Brandy, QPM, JP, Commissioner of Police. Now, Commissioner Brandy's decision was upheld in spite of recommendations from the chairman of the People's Action Movement and then sitting minister, the Honorable John L. Powell, and the former Deputy Prime Minister and leader of the People's Action Movement, the Honorable Sean K. Richards. And in similar letters, this was written by and signed by John L. Powell on the 30th September 2021, and signed by the Honorable John L. Powell of Frigate Basin Kitts, addressed to Mr. Hilroy Brandy, Commissioner of Police, and it reads, Dear Sir, I write in support of the application of Mr. Kendrick Simmons for license to possess and carry a firearm. I have known Mr. Simmons for in excess of 30 years, thereby being in a good position to vouch for us for his suitability. Mr. Simmons is the owner and operator of a bar, Ocean's Bar Beach Bar, Lounge and Aqua Park on the Frigate Bay Strip. Mr. Simmons and his business place has been subject to robbery recently, requiring the need for increased security. His business opens until late hours and he is responsible for the custody of earnings. This leaves him and his business further susceptible to criminal activity. In these uncertain times, we must ensure that the persons to whom we entrust this privilege and responsibility take it seriously and understand the consequences of such. I am confident, beg your pardon, that Mr. Simmons is such a person, and so I commend him to you to be favored in his application. Should you have any need to contact me in respect of my support to his application, please feel free so to do. Signed, the Honorable John L. Powell. Now, under Section 37 of the St. Christopher and Nevis Firearms Act and subsidiary legislation, Cap 19.05, of the revised edition showing the law as at December 31st, 2002. Under Section 37 of that Act, it provides appellate. You can appeal under this legislation, and Section 37 of the Firearms Act deals with appeals, and it reads, and I quote, at subsection 1, subject to this section, any aggrieved party may, within the prescribed time and in the prescribed manner, appeal to the Minister of National Security against any decision of an appropriate authority. A, refusing to grant any application for a license, certificate, or permit, amending or refusing to amend any license, certificate or permit, or revoking or refusing to revoke any license, certificate, or permit. Now, upon the determination of any appeal under this section, the Minister of National Security shall give to the appropriate authority against whose decision such appeal is taken such directions as the Minister of National Security may think fit. Now, the son of Kennedy Simmons is still before the court, and we're not gloating about that. We are stating the facts. And he's awaiting his appeal of an earlier drug conviction. And as the father myself, I empathize with the young man. But the question still looms large, and the only living national hero and former PAM leader must tell the Federation whether the actions of Sean Richards violated the constitutional principles and the rule of law which govern the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. The former PAM leader and our living national hero must not be angry if the law is executed in according to the letter of the law. And we understand, as I read from the commissioner's letter, that this young man cannot and should not be given the firearms license. But he comes as if he's holier than thou. But there are many questions. And he must come to tell the country, or perhaps it's too late, we don't need to hear him. But the fact is that the actions of Sean Richards violated the constitutional principles and the rule of law which governs the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Simply put, Kennedy and Alphonse Simmons must tell us as well whether the actions of Sean Richards undermine the rule of law in St. Kitts and Nevis. Kennedy Alphonse Simmons has also staunchly defended two of the members of the People's Action Movement who definitely should not hold public office in this federation. At the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, the learned judge found that the hand-picked successor of Kennedy Alphonse Simmons, our only living national hero, Lindsey Grant, and the current chairman of the People's Action Movement, Jonel Powell, were found guilty in the case of Tanzania Tobin Tanzil, and claim number SKBH-CV 2017/0391. Judge Ventos delivered that finding on the 20th of October 2019 and found that these two members of the People's Action Movement Party misappropriated over $1 million of their clients' money. The learned judge wrote, and I quote, although receiving the sum of US $460,000 from the claimant, their former client, in May 2013, the defendants, without lawful excuse, despite repeated requests from the vendor and the claimant, failed to pay the balance of the purchase price to the vendor of a condominium unit that the claimant was purchasing on the closing date of 20th September 2015. The defendants finally were forced to make the payment of the balance of the purchase price of the condominium unit to the vendor in July 2018, approximately 3 years later. Now, when I read the decision of the High Court, it prompted me to do my own research of the legislation in St. Kitts and Nevis. Lo and behold, I came across the Larceny Act Cap 4.16, which stipulates or states in Clause 3 of the Act that, amongst other things, that a person steals who, without the consent of the owner, fraudulently and without a claim of right made in good faith, takes and carries away anything capable of being stolen with intent at the time of taking. I also found Clause 19 that speaks to conversion, and I found it to be quite interesting, as Section 1, subsection D reads, and I quote my straight dog family as well. It says, having either solely or jointly with any other person received any property for or on account of any person or any other person, that read, fraudulently converts to his or her own use or benefit, or the use or benefit of any other person, the property or any part of the property or any proceeds of the property, commits a misdemeanor, and on conviction is liable to imprisonment with or without hard labor for a term not exceeding 7 years. So we can conclude those two PAM candidates should really be in jail. They should really be in jail. And we understand that the case comes up in November. So the constituents of number 2, and as well the constituency of number 4, will do well to consider seriously whether they want to have a representative that will embarrass them come November. God forbid. But the question arises, my Straight Dog family, are all persons in St. Kitts and Nevis equal and entitled to equal protection of the law, irrespective of their color, class, creed, or politics? We ask the other question, are some classes of persons in St. Kitts and Nevis afforded some greater privilege and merits, more consideration than another, by virtue of their political or ministerial portfolio? Now let us take a sober reflection on the state of affairs in our federation, because I heard this from the wrinkled history being documented by Kennedy Simmons. I heard this, I said, wrinkled history being advanced by Kennedy Simmons.
Not too long ago, our country fell. Our national debt had soared so high that we became one of the most indebted nations in the world. You may also remember that St. Kitts and Nevis suffered a hurtful bruising of its national image on the world stage, which resulted in Canada and the United States imposing severe sanctions on our beloved nation.
Yes, we all remember that. But lest we forget, our federation has so far had 3 prime ministers after 39 years of independence, or just about that. The first prime minister was Kennedy Alphonse Simmons from 1980 to 1995, or to be precise, from 1983 he became prime minister until 1995. And under him, meaning Kennedy Alphonse Simmons, our federation was labeled Devil's Island. Crime, dirty money, and drugs were prevalent in St. Kitts and Nevis during the prime ministership of Kennedy Alphonse Simmons. As co-founder of the People's Action Movement, his legacy is nothing to be proud of, and many would agree. The other co-founder of the People's Action Movement was our first ambassador to the United Nations and to the United States of America as well. And the United States demanded his recall after it was found that he was a kingpin of drugs and money laundering before he went missing at sea, and to date has never been found. The crime, drugs, and violence continued under our second prime minister, Denzel Llewellyn Douglas. Douglas inherited that from the Simmons administration. But Douglas took our economy to the brink of collapse, then ran to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. He swapped our land for debt. And sadly, under the Douglas Labour administration, we were labeled one of the highest detonation in the world, also the murder capital of the world. It took our third Prime Minister, Timothy Sylvester Harris, to save our federation and bring back dignity to our people. But God never sleeps. He neither sleeps nor slumber. And I believe that this caller is so correct with his prediction.
Harris is going to do a clean. Politicians and divisions respect that man, and I do respect that man for this. The way he stood up to Douglas. When everybody was cowering, he stood up to Douglas. The way he stopped the killing, it just went bam like that. The way he handled COVID, and the way he has managed the finances of the country. Thank you, Mr. PM. God is in control. Don't worry about a thing. The circus will soon be over. Have a good one and God bless you, sir. Harris is going to do a clean sweep. You know why many politicians and divisions respect that man, and I do respect that man for this. The way he stood up to Douglas. When everybody was cowering, he stood up to Douglas. The way he stopped the killing, it just went bam like that. The way he handled COVID, and the way he has managed the finances of the country. Thank you, Mr. PM. God is in control. Don't worry about a thing. The circus will soon be over. Have a good one and God bless you, sir.
The circus will soon be over, according to that caller. When I say it's now or never, it is just my way of reminding everyone that you must vote on Friday, the 5th August 2022, this coming Friday, to ensure that our country stays on the right social, economic, and political path to continuing progress, especially during this period of complexity, during this period of unpredictability, and during this period of uncertainty. More so, because we will never get another chance like this one in our lifetime. Our country was rescued from the deep ocean of debt by Timothy Harris and his cabinet. We found alternative methods to resolve the issues that caused the rampant crime and violence, and we are still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. For those reasons, the decisions we make on Friday, the 5th of August, at the polling booth, will determine whether we go backwards or we go forward and onward to a safer and brighter future. My people, it is now or never. I like Timothy Harris. If I perish, I perish. But I will speak the truth, my straight dog family. If I perish, I perish. But I will speak the truth. And the truth is, my straight dog family, we have seen in a leader who has really given us everything to be proud of. So we need not worry about perishing. Let's just speak truth.
To speak that basic truth and say, as one brave person said, if I perish in speaking truth to power, I perish. I perish, man. But truth must be spoken. Truth must be spoken. And that is what we are attempting to do, Mr. Speaker. That is what it is, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, we will speak the truth. And the truth is, Kennedy Alphonse Simmons never supported unity. He never did. Never supported unity.
Going to do a clean sweep. You know why many politicians in the vision respect that man, and I do respect that man for this. The way he stood up to Douglas. When everybody was cowering, he stood up to Douglas. The way he stopped the killing, it just went bam like that. The way he handled COVID, and the way he has managed the finances of the country. Thank you, Mr. PM. God is in control. Don't worry about a thing. The circus will soon be over. Have a good one and God bless you, sir.
Well, forgive me for that wrong soundbite, but as I said, Kennedy Simmons never supported unity. He never did. Listen to this.
Some timid souls in PAM telling others, don't say PAM, just say unity. Hell no.
Yes, he never supported unity. Simmons and Pam were never about unity. And he has confessed that. He has confessed that.
When I decided to support the efforts of the Team Unity Alliance, I did so in order to get rid of Denzel Douglas. We succeeded. I took that decision also because of the opportunity to change the political culture of St. Kitts and Nevis and to end the political polarization which has plagued us. That is still my mission.
My Straight Dog family, it's now or never. Those greedy vultures must be stopped. And that is my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. We have a global crisis on our hands. Leadership is important. This country and its leadership is very important as we go to the polls on Friday. No matter what you hear them say, my Straight Dog family, good leaders have an action plan. And we have heard the action plans outlined by Timothy Sylvester Harris and his team of candidates. The COVID-19 crisis has derived for the Federation an economic, social, and fiscal impact. The decision we take on Friday must be a sober one to ensure our safety and our continued progress in the country. My people, it's 16 before the 9 o'clock hour. It is now time. It is now the time to hear from you, my Straight Dog family. The numbers are 663-6672 and or 646-829-6672. Remember, I always like to implore you to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. In the process of doing and saying those things, let us ensure and let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. My people, it's now or never. The lines are open. Let me hear from you. Do not be distracted by those who will want to vilify our leader. My Stray Dog family, they are people who are desperate. I go to the lines at 16 for then caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
That is good night.
Good night,
Good
night, my brother. How art thou?
Oh man, I'm here just listening to you, man. Feeling the winds of change, with the winds of new PLP government getting elected whenever the election come on Friday. Saturday, I will be celebrating with a brand new team government, PLP government in office. I will be celebrating that. But you know, first I want to thank God for life. Thank God for the Federation of Nevis, a country we're born into a little bit up to now, and doing well for myself and trying to help others. Patches, well, you saw a mouthful. And I went in a shop, go buy a bottle of water. And some fellows were telling me, oh, look, the Prime Minister, Dr. Simmons. I said, man, listen, I hear Dr. Him, and Dr. Simmons is not God. Dr. Simmons is not God. That is a study to say that, I'm going to keep it long. I was a PAM from 1984. I joined the PAM. I joined the PAM as a member PAM, have a membership party card for PAM. Right? The membership dues whenever. And a load of us, Star Wars, PAM and so was us, especially with number 3, well, there was an executive team in number 3. I can't go over, but I will say certain things. And everything from that in number 3, I always try to contribute whatever, maybe a sheep, a piece of meat or something, a goat, whatever, to help the party. I got up Sean and Dr. Simmons, know that. I got up Dr. Simmons know me when they got it, a.k.a. Mr. Politics. I got up Dr. Simmons know me. I got up Sean know me, a.k.a. Mr. Politics. Then a party guard from 1980 to up to 2015 when in this election. You understand? So, Patrick, keep a long story short. Let me focus on this elected Prime Minister. We don't elected with a new brand party and make history. Somebody made me say, oh, Pam 50-something years and Labour 90-something years. You gonna bitch a Pam? You gonna bitch a Pam? I say bitch a Pam. If Pam want to do Pam, if Dr. Simmons know me as Mr. Politics, I know that when they got it. I shall know me as Mr. Politics when they got it. Eh? Who gonna know me now? Dr. Harris is the man for this country because I want to tell you, Dr. Harris looked down to the down to Chadden. This man has done his Indian best. He can make a good because he was doing so good. And because we were thinking of so good about the unity concept that we're doing in government. They get grudge. He and Sean and Mark end up to bitch and overturn the unity. We were who fought for it. We were fought for it. Nicolja and others and Jam down and others who fought for unity. It wasn't easy. But it wasn't easy for us. It wasn't easy. So, Patrick, let me tell you something, right? I just want the people to stop looking and listen and forget about political history and forget about party even for 20 and 50 years and this year and that year. This PLP party under the mayorship of Dr. Harris just 7 years and going on. And now, that is the only party I believe that the people of this country could recognize and be there an election for the coming. People go to the especially young people. That is our wonderful. God bless.
God bless you, my brother. And you've said it well. After 35 years of PAM, you have left the fold. And for obvious reasons, you have left that fold. And when I listen to the living national hero, his presentation was laced with so many lies. One major lie he spoke about the Attorney General Vincent Byron. I, Ian Patrick Liburd was in the House. The day after elections, I was at the Prime Minister's residence. When Sean Richards came there, then I learned that Sean Richards was the emissary, I think they're called, the messenger, because it was Mark Brantley and Lindsey Grant who said that the that the Attorney General was a waste and they were not going back with the Attorney General. The Prime Minister said that he has confidence in Juicy Byron. And Sean Richards came back with the message that they would only agree to have the Attorney General for 1 year. So when Simmons has come with his blatant lies, you wonder and you understand, as I said earlier, why they have in the past awarded certain classifications, especially one, and the National Committee awards medals of honor and so on. But you know, I want to say one thing before I go to this next call. I mentioned earlier that under the Simmons administration between 1980 and 1995, violence and drugs became prevalent in this country. And it was under the Harris administration between 2015 and 2020, we legalized drugs in this country. And when I listened to Kennedy Alphonse Simmons, I said to myself, he sounds as if he took his first puff of a spliff of marijuana. Caller, you live. Hello, caller, you live.
Good evening.
How are you, my brother? Good evening. Are you there, caller?
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Okay, yeah. Patrice, good evening. So, yeah.
Good evening, my dear brother. Mr.
Okay, how are you doing?
Mr. Culture, I am peaceful. Yourself?
Okay, the radical culture is peaceful.
Looking forward to Friday. Are you?
Oh yeah, God willing. Yeah. God is in control. And who God bless, no man on this earth here can curse.
No man.
None. So I don't care what they go on with. But I'm going to say this here, I'm going to start from down the first tread of steps, and I'm coming up. PAM organization under the leadership of Simmons. I ain't going to call him no more national hero, because he himself, he defeated the acknowledgement that he got to make him call him a national hero. When he did, well, they could give him back that. But for me, he disrespect the honor that he got. And so therefore, in my book, he don't deserve to be called that by me. When his office get into power, I had my cousin, husband, daughter, a young lady just leave school, working in National Bank. And Pam fired her because her parents was labor under Mr. Bradshaw government. And come over to Mr. Bradshaw government. They fired her. And that wasn't all in firing. The man who started his job as a teacher from the age of 12, Mr. Willie Doe, he was the man who initiated the flour and mackerel to this country here, because he realized that the sugar workers and the non-established workers, the money was so small, and he had the opportunity and the privilege to negotiate on the outside to get some help for us. And he was the man who get the flour and the mackerel. And because he was on Mr. Bratton's labor team, when Dr. Simmons with Pam take over, he did fire Mr. Doe forthwith. All because of that, forthwith, I was told so by Mr. Doe himself. 97 years and he's still kicking, his brain is kicking. He sounds like he's going to grammar school still, Patrick. So he has a behavior to fire people and ignore people.
Now when we come to the license what he wants for his son. Well, if his son has a business where he have it over Frigate, and he should get a license with all them rounds because he has a business and he exposed to be robbed. Well, everybody out there with Frigate should get a gun. A 38 and the amount of rounds too. Everybody. Not because he's the son of a prime minister. So when the commissioner of police refused to acknowledge the request, he believed because he is the leader, he must be given. You know, he going against the law. Whatever the police said is that stand. Police are there to uphold the law. No politician bigger than the law. So they could take out criminal out of prison and carry them to hotel. They break the law. Because when the judge pass the decision and they go behind and defy the judge's decision, they break the law. Now come to Mr. Simmons with the rhetoric on the radio yesterday. How all the time when Unity started 2015, he never come on the radio and say what he said yesterday. And he tell a lot of lies on Dr. Harris. Tell a lot of lies, but I'm glad you say what you said about Juicy. Dr. Simmons ought to be ashamed of himself. He don't retire from politics. Dr. Harris is the man who recognized him with the team in cabinet to honor him and give him the title. And now, for desperation's sake, he come on yesterday, belittle his position and himself. He has no dignity. Trying to humiliate and degrade Dr. Harris with all kind of lies.
Okay.
And telling Dr. Harris said that. Well, let me tell Dr. Simmons this. He forget what happened in 1967 when they tried to overthrow Mr. Bratcher government. Well, what goes around comes around. And he get it back from Douglas in 1993. So me and expect better of him. But I will come back with a second dose.
Okay.
PLP, Dr. Harris and his other 7 candidates, they will win the election because they are honest and they present to the public the issues what they're going to do.
Okay.
And they're not abusing or cursing nobody.
Okay, my brother.
So people, vote for PLP. I'll be back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrice.
Thank you, my dear brother. Let's keep our eyes on the time, my dear brother. Let's go back to the lines. Call you live.
Yes, good night, Patrick. I would like to know what job for legalizing saying it and your incident that you had at the airport where you tried to board to security. What's the difference between that and when you're talking about other people?
Well, they have legalized marijuana. I don't know what you refer to as boat to the airport. As the minister with responsibility for SCASPA, I will hold my head high until I die. That I never went around the security, what's called? I never went around the security. I had my pass on my chest, it was quite visible, and I entered. So what is your point then? Make your point.
So having your pass on your chest doesn't stop you from being searched in a security restricted area?
I was never asked to be searched.
You refused to be searched. You refused to be searched. We have the video here, so I don't know what is your point.
You're not going to come and make false aspersions here. The video is very clear, right? Very, very clear. And as the minister, I didn't go there as Ian Bachelor, but I went there as the minister with responsibility for SCASPA. I who helped to train. I was trained myself, so I know what it's about. So don't come in no false stupidness here. What is the point?
What is false? The video speaks for itself. So what are you talking about false?
Okay, let's agree to disagree on that one because I have a copy of the video. The whole world see it. Anything else?
Yes, and like you come. They don't listen to your song, but when I do hear any little thing, it's like
take your time.
The kind of things you're coming with. It's like you're coming like you coming with all truth when it's not like that. You need to stop coming with with all these fastings week in and week out trying to fool people.
So what is
people know what's going on? You're not fooling anybody.
No, take your time. Take your time. No. If I have come with falsehood, pinpoint it. State what I said was false. Was Simmons' son denied a license application for license firearm? Was it as false? Are you there?
So I didn't call you to say anything about Simmons. I'm talking about Simmons.
But say what is false. If you can't say what is false, then hush your mouth, please. Can you?
So let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Right? You had anybody for you were ever involved in any activity?
Any what?
Anybody for you were ever involved in any illegal activities?
Well, I don't know what question is that, because if you
well, you ain't going anywhere.
If you have a sister or a son or a mother who is involved in any illegal activity, what does that have to do with Ian Patch's Liburd? So if you have nothing to say, just say off the radio. If you hear me talk falsehood, pinpoint it. Let's go back to the lines. Call your life. The truth will set us free. Are you there, caller?
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Osiah, Garvey, and Queen and Zinga, and in the spirit of those who free us from the bondage of our enslavement, beloved brother. Brother, how you doing? Happy Emancipation Day to all my beloved sisters and brothers in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and throughout the Caribbean and the entire world, beloved. What's up?
I am peaceful. Are you feeling emancipated like me?
Oh, you're cracking up. I am hearing you too good, bro.
I was asking you if you are feeling as emancipated as I am.
I'm hearing you, brother Patches. You're breaking up real bad.
Something is wrong. Something is wrong with your phone, my dear brother. Can you hear me now? I can hear your feedback in your telephone. Can you hear me?
Let me hang up and call you right back. Okay. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, my brother. Thank you for that. We do apologize for the quality of that call from my Ras Nabu. And if people want to come to the fore and bring facts. You know, the facts are what they are. If you feel that as host I present false information, then pinpoint it. I'll be the first one to withdraw. But you don't come with nothing that you feel like and feel like. The facts are that, and Simmons talk about corruption. Simmons talk about procurement of the Procurement Act. We have a strong Procurement Act, very strong one. And in fact, the procurement legislation is very clear. And the same man he's supporting as the PAM leader, what happened at UDC? What happened all over? We can talk all night about that. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Patches, good night.
How are you, my brother?
I hear.
You have your radio on? You have your radio on, my brother Jam Down, do you?
Yeah.
Please turn it down. I want to hear you.
Patches is very sad. It's very sad. Mm-hmm. I think when you are the national hero, you must keep away from certain things. But you could see desperado, boy.
Desperation.
And they didn't want in these young boys, you know. Because they feel people stupid. You see these young boys. When poor people give them power and they play around with us, don't play very strong, my friend. Them. I always come down to them. Because when we give them power, you know the thing about them in Patches? When Martin Kane and Billy Hobart used to come across by Paloma, you to see the rest, And the same thing it is Wagabon Sean and the Wagabon gang. They take us like damage. But only strong next 10 max night, we're going to them thing no more with them. We're going to chase them out the yard and come to all. We need something new in our stone. Thank God you The people in this still put you up there, you make them feel proud in Wellington Wood. But the vagabondness where they do, up in the Tucker Clark school, they're going to pay for it. This is Jam down here talking. Have a good night. It's better than Harris again. Harris again is the best for this country. Hang on nowhere. Jam down tell you that, Patrick. Harris ain't going nowhere. You have a good night.
Have a good night.
We're going to see how the ball game go.
Have a good night, my brother. Come Friday.
And Australia always got also. And we're going to see how we go Friday.
All right, my
because Irish Town will bring in that young man. Have a good night, Patrick. This is Jam Down.
Have a good night, my dear brother. Jam Down. Yes, come Friday. Let's go back to the lines. Thank you, caller, for holding. You are live. Hello, caller.
Yes, brother Patches. Greetings again.
Can you hear me now?
I'm hearing you, brother Patches.
Okay, good. You got back. What's on your mind, my brother? Yeah. You said Happy
brother.
Emancipation Day. I hope you are feeling as emancipated as I am.
Well, brother, you know, man, brother, very emancipated, very liberated, and no one gonna stop that, brother. And let me just say, got to give praises and thanks and all respect tribute to those who fought for our liberation. We should never, ever forget them, beloved brothers, because of them, that's what we are today. But we must bear and what they left, beloved brother. And all saying all that, brother, and there's election time again. And let me say, let this brother Nabu over him Hotap say, that's my African name, beloved brother, that I support Dr. Harris to be the next Prime Minister, and I'm calling on all my people who are able to vote on St. Kitts, beloved Liam Meager, to vote for all 8 candidates under the banner of the People's Labour Party. And you're hearing from a brother who supported the People's Action Movement for 52 years. Beloved brother, when it was almost illegal and detrimental to support People's Action Movement then. So nobody can come and talk no foolishness to me, beloved brother. I put my people and my country of birth among any party or parties in St. Kitts Nevis, beloved brother. And I go where I see a man, a brother who cares, who loves financially poor people, have demonstrated that even he was with that demon from St. Paul, beloved brother. No one can question Dr. Harris' dedication to his people at that time in 7. And now when he became Prime Minister, that's extended to the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, beloved brother. That's why I support the brother, beloved. And I will continue. He's the best man. I won't say man. He's the best person at this time to be the Prime Minister again. Because of the mockery that but that don't go on. So I ain't gonna dwell on that. So I'm calling on my people again. And in Nevis, I will go with the NRP, beloved brother. Brother Mark is still my brother, will always be my brother. Your time will come, beloved brother, but not this time, brother Mark. Great works must continue under Dr. Harris. And brother, let me say something, right? In number 6, brother, from Harris's to Newton Grong, young brothers, young sisters, make a change and make a change this time. Look at Constituency 6, Kansas Pastures there in West. And brother, I am telling you, brother Patches, and when I speak, I will stand by my word. Brother Harris, and you become the Prime Minister again, things must be done in number 6. Brother Nabo ain't gonna pick that kind of thing again.
Okay.
And Brother Mark, you got to stand up for number 6. Brother Patton, keep on listening, keep up the great works, and to my people, do the right thing. And August 5th, Friday, August 5th, and vote for all the candidates under the banner of the PLP and all the candidates under the banner of the NRP in Nevis. My beloved sisters and brothers, let's continue that African spirit and do the right thing, beloved. Brother, thanks again for hearing me. Keep up the great works. Pan-Africanism our purpose. One love, my beloved brother.
One love, my brother. And New York in the house. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Call you live. It's 11 past 9 o'clock.
Hello, Patty.
How are you, my dear brother?
Well, thank God for life. I'm thankful for life. What I want to say to you is that none of them going to lead this country like Dr. Harris. Not one of them. What happens, see, some people don't know what they have until they're gone. This election is a serious election. The Federation is at the crossroad of history. Now before 3 political parties contested all 8 seats in St. Kitts, there's a possibility we can have a hung parliament. We may even have to go back to the polls in a matter of months, which is not good because the election costs money. It will be a drain on the financial resource of the government and the political parties. Now, under the leadership of Dr. Timothy Harris, the people of the Federation have benefited tremendously. For instance, Dr. Harris introduced the peace program because violence and murders was threatening to destroy our tourist industry. Dr. Harris introduced the STEP program, employing hundreds of young people, preparing them for the world of work. Dr. Harris introduced the Poverty Alleviation Program, where 4,781 recipients are receiving social assistance on a monthly basis, improving their living conditions. This hurricane season should serve as a reminder of the Roof Prepare program, where hundreds of ordinary working class people had their roof prepared free of cost. Our traffic is packed with vehicles. Every street within the neighborhood is packed with vehicles. All belong to working class people. It was Dr. Harris who removed value-added tax from food and medicine. It was Dr. Harris who removed the 50% fuel surcharge from electricity. It was Dr. Harris who gave sugar workers $16 million. Many other things Dr. Harris put in place that has improved the standard of living of the people in this federation. The people must show their appreciation by going out in their numbers and vote overwhelmingly to give Dr. Harris a strong mandate to govern with a team of young, energetic people that he have with him. Now, Mark Brantley and Sean Richard has caused this federation to suffer tremendous losses economically and financially. Dr. Harris is the only one to put this country back on track. The people who vote against Dr. Harris vote against themselves. And I pray to Almighty God that He must continue to guide him, because thousands of people in this country depending on his leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Well said. You know, the PAP, the roof repair, the performance of Dr. Harris is incomparable. Caller, you are live. It's 16 past 9.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night, my dear brother.
Honorable Liburd. Good night.
How art thou, my brother?
Well, I am blessed by the name of the Almighty. We all have to look up to Him and get on our knees.
Yes.
And ask Him to guide this country forward and not backward. Yesterday, I was listening to a speech on our national radio station by a former minister, now then living hero. And he started off as well, we have something to speak about to the election is coming up on the 5th of this month, which is Friday. I think he starts out and he starts off analyze the Prime Minister Timothy Harris and how this country here is. And so well known, but something is wrong with this gentleman. Something is definitely wrong because I asked him said before he comes on the radio to speak that there's 3 persons in this federation here I do not have no respect for. It was Sir Kennedy Alfred Simmons, Honorable Sam Kondo was the Deputy Prime Minister under Prime Minister Douglas, and Mr. Dwight Asprat. I also call those 3 names. And last night was exactly what came out of Mr. Simmons' mouth to be a national hero. He should never call a national hero a culture until when he going to his grave. Because the whole world listened to him, his speech last night. And people call me from America want to know what happened to Dr. Douglas. Dr. Simmons. What happened? A national hero who Dr. Timothy Harris gave United Honor into the first of his in unity. He gave him that because Dr. Dendel Douglas, he will never get that honor from Dr. Dendel Douglas. Dr. Dendel Douglas didn't have the likeness for him. And the way how they act, sometimes you have to forgive people in certain things. But Dr. Simmons, I have respect for you, but all of that got on the drain of last night's speech. The way how you outline and interact, Mr. Timothy Harris, you even call him Mr. Byron, the Juicy Byron. The only person he didn't touch is the Governor General, which mostly all of the PAM activists now have Mr. Stapleton to be killed just because he didn't stood up what they want him to do. And all of them should be ashamed because Mr. Seaton was in Parliament for Dr. Douglas as Attorney General for 15 years. And this is the way that they treated the gentleman who is now the Governor General in this federation, and they should, all of them, from Mr. Dwight after Sam Kondo, Big Lies, Mr. Watley, even Mr. Hamilton, the liar, who is running now, all of them should be ashamed of themselves to be talking bad about Dr. Timothy Harris.
Okay.
Mr. Sam Kondo, before he go on to national radio, he had to write a script and give to Peter Jenkins, and Peter Jenkins had to give it to Mr. Caddy before he could go on the radio to make a speech, and he didn't get the chance to go on the radio.
Okay, my brother, got you loud and clear. Thanks.
I want people to understand that Dr. Simmons has made himself look small to the eyes of the people in this federation.
Okay.
People who had a likeness to him are not gone on the drain.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say so, but God is above. God doesn't sleep.
Okay.
Look down and say, well, when you're doing something good, let you. Look at Pozante, which I used to.
Okay, my brother. Okay.
I get kicked out from Pozante. Mr. Sean Richards had something about the hut. He knows about the hut going on down there.
Okay, my
and
brother.
All of that, expose him.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Levin, you have a good night.
Thanks a lot.
Expose them, plenty.
Thanks a lot, my dear brother. Thanks for your input. we go straight back to the lines. Let's be guided by the time. Let's try and utilize 2 minutes. I'll let you go over a bit, but I know we are all anxious to express ourselves. But let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hello, Patches. Good night. How are you?
I am peaceful, my dear.
I'm all right. I'm here. I'm here.
My good family. My good
I would like to see you because I have some business for you to fix with me for me. So I don't know where I can find you.
Are you in St. Kitts? Are you home?
Yes, I am here, right?
You're home.
Elaborate, yeah.
Okay. Well,
okay. I would like to see I have some business for you to do for me.
Okay, I'll try and find you. You have my number, don't you?
Yeah, okay. As soon as you come up by the cemetery, on the, you're going to see the center. The center, I'm on the left of the center. If you're coming from the cemetery side.
Okay, that's it.
I'm on the right. Yeah, and if you come from the hospital side, I'm on the right.
Okay.
If you come from the cemetery, I'm on the left.
Okay, I'll come look for you, my dear.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, have a good night.
Have a good night as well. Have a good night as
well. Have a good night, but we have to talk.
Yes, I look forward to that. Good to hear you, my dear family.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, how are you?
I am peaceful, my dear. Yourself?
I thanking God for still life.
Yes, we do.
I just want to wish my best Prime Minister all the best on Friday and to let him know none will ever be like him. Don't care if they try. All the abusing will make him stronger. Mr. Liburd, I want to tell the boys what they was doing. It was under the opposition. Did not do nothing for them. Is the Prime Minister was there for them. So please, if they want it to continue, vote for the Prime Minister for more. Nothing like that will happen again. And don't let it go away. And don't matter all the saying about them on the radio, on the phone or whatever. Do not study them. Go out and vote in their numbers because nobody wants to look out for them. And if they get in this amount of money and how much our people, look how much the crime cool down. They're watching away. America will like to get a prime minister like that. If it's they want to join, let them depend on themselves. Only now they know the prime minister is greedy. Why take him? Why take him and don't do so much? Mr. Liburd, good night. Have a good night. He was there for me in my 20 years struggle, and I don't who abuse me or who want to talk with me own. I would never give him up to nobody. Thank you and have a good night. Let abuse it abuse.
Have a good night, my dear. Sounds like Alice in Wonderland. How could you give up a good thing? How could you give up a good man? Tell me, caller, you're live.
Hello, Patrick. How are you doing this evening?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Okay, man. I thought you wasn't coming on. I got everything. That's it. And I just turned off my phone. And I said, listen again. Patrick is a man you could rely on.
Yes.
And there you are. I was in Old Road today. And everything there in Old Road is actually the guy there. I can tell you who he is. Because he acted like Grant. That Grant like that. His name is Monkey. Their father, their father. Let them know. You all have to be there for unity, for Harris. He said, nobody asked him, who do you think gonna win? He said, PLP. I sat down in Olo for about 2 hours, and everybody was saying PLP. One or two said Labour. But I haven't heard anyone say Grant. So, you guys got to know. I turned on to the TV last night, and I hear Simon acting up there like a crazy man. He's the reason why he think his sister screwed him. So I didn't hear your whole show, but I'm going to listen, on the net.
Okay.
Look, that man, I think Simmons was that real. Simmons is the reason, look, he's fighting for the party, not for thinking. With all the things, and he defending those things, he defending what John do, he defending Brantley, and saying Brantley. This way maybe some think it is method because of Simmons. That's the man you see here. And it's all right. I can't believe Simmons like that. Okay? his own son. Okay? Come on. Package, I wanted to call back and I don't want to bother you. I don't agree the same number, but you know, if you want to listen, I just get something here telling me something about Jew, which I know. If I tell you what I know about the Jew thing, okay? But I can try to get you on that number. The number you have on before, whatever, I'll try tomorrow. Please, tell Dr. Harris he has to go and counteract what that man was saying. Okay?
Okay, my brother.
Please.
Will do.
Okay, practice all the best to you guys on election day. Let the people know. If you don't put that great man Harris back in there, you all finished with, okay? He's the one who saved thinking from another Haiti. Practice, I'll continue to listen. I did not turn off the phone. Okay. All the best to you. When you guys are looking good in all road, in that area, have a good one and go back down again and talk to the person who I just told you.
Okay.
Okay? Have a good one and all the best on election day. Mind, people, if you all let Dr. Harris do, you all finish with. He's the one who stand up to Douglas. He stood up to Douglas. Otherwise, you have another Haiti. And the man loves people. All the best, Packers.
All the best to you, my dear brother. Thanks a lot.
God bless you all. Please, people think it. Don't be stupid. Harris stood up when the audience was talking. He stood up for all of you. Please. And tell Dr. Harris you got to counter up what that man was saying. That crazy man. Have a good evening, Patrick.
Have a good evening as well, my dear brother. Thanks for your intervention tonight. And this message reads, good evening, Ambassador. Sir Kennedy has come out kicking. It amazes me that as a national hero, he has stooped to an all-time low. Desperation is setting in. If Dr. Harris was all of these bad things, why did Pam allow him to be part of Team Unity construct? So Kennedy should be advising his members by strategizing, not by making a mockery of himself on radio and TV. Blessings and continue to stay safe. Reads that email. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding you alive. It's 28 past 9 o'clock.
Good evening, Patrick. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm here. Being blessed. Now I want to talk about the leader of the People's Action Movement, Mr. Sean Richard, who is trying to be the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. One of the observations I perceive about Mr. Richards is that he is not Prime Minister quality. Now, imagine, I think somebody said some time ago that one of the things that cannot be retrieved is spent arrow. And here is Mr. Richards going around and crying and weeping and bawling and complaining, you know, to be re-elected, thus making him the Prime Minister of St. Kitts. I have told people, and I duly believe this, that Sean Richards is going to go down as the most foolish and ridiculous politician that St. Kitts has ever produced. I thought back on politicians that I knew and heard over the years. And I came to the conclusion that, I don't know if you remember Johnny Williams, Kick Them Johnny.
Of course, yes.
Back in the 1780s. Johnny Williams would have made... Hello?
Kick them out.
Kick them out, yeah. Yes. Johnny Williams. He would have made a better leader than Sean Richards ever could. And here is it, the thing that Sean is saying he never knew, being the Deputy Prime Minister. Under your portfolio, a guard hut is being built at the marina at UDC, costing almost $250,000. And Mr. Richards proclaimed that he never knew anything about that. But this is done right under your nose, and you don't know. What else would be done that you would not know if you're a Prime Minister? And I am hearing that until now, this gathers is still being worked on. Sean is bawling. No, If you have something in your hand, why let it go? Why allow yourself to lose it and then be having restless nights up and down and crying and complaining and begging for the people to give you back? Doesn't make any sense to me. Then the other candidate in number 2 and also number 4. I am wondering how people are going to vote realistically for these candidates, knowing that there is a cloud over their heads and that they would have these cases come November. What happened when they are convicted? Let us think maturely, let us think intelligently. Mr. Richards has never proven himself to be a leader, a capable leader, a leader that can weather the storms that would hit this country in any way. So let us reject him, let us reject his candidates. He was there, he had the opportunity to be in leadership. He threw it all away.
Yep.
Let us focus on going ahead and electing capable hands. That's my contribution tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Sound contribution it is, nonetheless. And you made mention of Sean not knowing, right? And really, Sean Richards, like every other minister, has a constitutional requirement to know, because Section 61 of our Constitution is very clear, and it reads, and I quote, "Where any minister has been charged with responsibility for any department of the government, he shall," underline that, "he shall exercise general direction and control over that department." And that's a constitutional requirement. That's a constitutional mandate given to every member of any government. Caller, you are live. Thank you for holding.
Yes, Mr. Levitt, I reached back because something is bothering me. The Christian Council and the NGO, all of them, they came on with a statement stating about how the politicians them should behave on the platform. Are they going to chastise Dr. Kennedy Simmons for the way how he went onto our national radio station? Are they going to do it? Because he's supposed to show example. He's going to a radio station to speak to the nation how to conduct it. But I'd like to know from them, are they going to chastise him or put him before some inquiry of his behavior?
Okay.
And I want everybody to join in with me and tell me I made a good statement, and that is what done. You cannot look at a fisherman and say he fishes things until buy it. Okay. You have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear brother, as well. We go straight back to the line. It's now, it's 26 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. In the event you have just joined me, we are looking at the most important election that's set for Friday, the 5th of August. And my Straight Talk family is going to be one of the most important elections in our country's history. As that caller before the last one said, and I totally agree, we have to think maturely and think intelligently and think about our future. Caller, you are live at 25 before 10 o'clock.
Good night, Patrick.
Good night, my dear sister. Sounds like...
This is Dumpling Harris.
Dumpling Harris. I thought I recognized it.
Oh, yes, this is Dumpling Harris, Patrick. Patrick, a lot of crazy people out, right? And a lot of single people. You understand? But I want to tell you, you hear about the governor for Central Bank talking about within the peace. They want to do the peace in St. Lucia.
I didn't hear that, but I won't be surprised though.
Yes, yes. The governor for Central Bank with the government in St. Lucia.
Okay.
They're organizing the peace. So you see, the peace, they said they want to do like St. Kitts and Nevis. And these people here trying to bash the Prime Minister. But Patrick, let me tell you, they ain't care what they say, They ain't care what they say. They say, how the Prime Minister does support me, but the Prime Minister ain't supporting me. I just love the man. But the man put a roof over my daughter's head, and I could come in a good zone where I could see every big plane and the beauty of St. Kitts. You understand, Patrick?
Yep.
So, Patrick, all I have to say, a lot of crazy signals going wrong. So, that's all I have to say. And let me tell you, Patrick, that I'm grateful at this, at that man, I'm grateful because they ain't do nothing for me. All what the first Prime Minister do for me is take me off a cash up step and send me up the hospital to work. But I nearly get a jail 1993 for theft because they tell me they're going to give me a house. 3 hours they said they're going to give me a house. Lawn up the road we can't see. And a lady down Market Street, I do call her Plan Your Family. And when you look, they'll give a lady, may God bless her soul, named Patsy Ruby. And they didn't find the land to build a house for me. Then give me a house. Timothy, give me daughter a house. And Patsy, I went on and eat the clock, Me, I can't work. Men have tackling the deal. But a lot of us went up me wait under the clock. I wonder if they know where the clock be. I wonder if they know where it be. You understand? And no, Timothy was so good. And you mean to say, he is the worst? One man, all of them focus on this man so bad. But that is God, that him here. Let the man go in the church because everybody just want to go in the church on Sunday, to get a blessing, So if you go to church, they just say, step right in and take a seat. Step right in and take a seat. But they better step in like him and they ain't going to be senile and talk stupidness. They ain't saying that must tell the people them, stop abuse the governor and disrespect him and his sister. That is a man was there with them 1980. He was the attorney general and them there just sitting back and let the people, them all kind of crazy people, disrespect the man and saying a lot of bad thing about the man. But me going down the road with them, because he's from Market Street and he look after everybody and he's a Moravian member and he's up the IFA. So when they touch him, they're touching Dumpling Harris. Mr. Clashford, see you when I see you. See you, bye.
Have a good night.
A lot of crazy people. Oh, see you.
Thank you very much, my dear Dumpling Harris. I like that. She said a lot of crazy people and senile people are out. Very interesting. And as I said, under the Simmons administration between 1980 and 1995, guns and drugs became prevalent in St. Kitts and Nevis. Fast forward some 26 years after or more, right? And civilization has improved, it has changed. That world over, countries are looking at marijuana as an industry that can provide economic development for countries. For the Rastaman who actually promoted the legalization of marijuana since back in Bob Marley's time. Not Peter Tosh said legalize it, and we have now legalized marijuana. And people are asking me if the living national hero, beg your pardon, is now smoking pot. Caller, you are live. I want to thank you for holding.
Good evening, Mr. Liburd. How are you?
I am peaceful, my dear. And yourself?
Oh, I'm so blessed. Very interesting program tonight. Very, very interesting. But anyway, Mr. Liburd, is one thing I really vexed for. When Grant had worked up the police, they should have put Grant out of Parliament. And with the misappropriation, then they should have been gone long time.
Many agree with you.
Because if it was a poor person, they would have gone. They would have taken them out, locked them up. But anyway, cut a long story short, it will be PLP all the way. Him back into Parliament again. We the people, we can't afford to lose Tim. Come too far to turn back.
Yep.
Mr. Patches, you have a good night. I'll see you when I see you.
I'll see you on our day when we're gonna celebrate. I see you on Celebration Day.
Okay, my dear, I look forward to that.
Have a good night. Celebration with PLP all the way.
All the way, my dear. All the way comes Saturday. It's PLP all the way. Let us go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Hello, caller. Yes, caller, you're live.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none by ourselves but free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, none can stop up the time. Brother Nabo, good night. Good night, Brother Nabo. And good night, Sajik Gaya. But Sajik Gaya, man, you got some kind of little can't hear you. Because sometimes we don't hear many things. But that's some kind of conscience. But a lot of intention to us, that was good. Brother Nabo, let me tell you something. When unity wins, Friday, me, Mr. Politics, will purchase the ticket to come for the celebration. Brother, I got to be here.
Okay.
That's it?
Yes.
Brother, I got to be here. And Patrick, you know the reason why they're going on like that? And they're so upset? Because they never believe that
PLP.
Dr. Harris will bring this country out of the situation where he was. Dr. Harris, we went with Labour. And you know, he's type with Labour. They stifle him because God, he man got a vision. God said, that's what God said, man, you know. Dr. Douglas will stifle him. Or you Dr. Simmons will come up about how he even this and that with Dr. Douglas and all kind of thing. We try to betray Dr. Douglas and all kind of thing. But let me tell you something. I want the voters, them forget about Dwyer Stefan, forget about Dr. Douglas, forget about Big Lunch, forget about Licky Board, forget about all of them who come from social media, come from radio station, and try to bring them Dr. Harris. Let them know this is the man for this country. Ignore them and he's a petit Sankanda. I disappointed with Sankanda. I say disappointed with Dr. Simmons as the first living national hero. Where Dr. Harris uplift him and make him to be. It is not by I know God. I know God. A God rule this world. And this, I tell you the fact PLP gonna make history because nobody mumu. This is no mumu blame politics, this is a play. They are family life and labor life. This night, we move up on these things. We come out of mental slavery now. Dr. Harris says, look down to the scratch from you with. The dumb to old man, reach in the room. I tell the person that was starting at that palm. Me was a palm, Dr. Simmons don't even know me. Sean Richard don't even know me. Lazy Grant Farmer, leader from Lazy Grant don't even know me. And Patrick, I don't do so much of them. Don't do so much of them. Call it by radio. Different Grant, especially when you went to the marriage, but the way you got to know. Where I go? Court is took away the funny radio land basin. Me, Mr. Politics, every day to defend him. One man make me. He make me, give me a job. He said, politics, I thank you now. I want to thank you now. I want to thank you now. I want to thank you now. This man, me take the money, me take the money, me take the money, me take the money, take the money, Joe. You know, I tell you so. You understand? Because I was a pam, and I was serious pam. But then I don't use for the people. I have a good friend of mine named Jet, from all over there and gone. Who used to pack the speakers in the pam, and he tell me meeting don't play. Yeah, they don't play. He pack up the speakers and pack up the thing. The man complained to me, tell me sick, bad, one medical attention, and none of them look for him. But nobody want how is any man. That is good night.
Good night, my dear brother. Have yourself a wonderful night. Let's go back to the lines. A caller. Call you live.
Hello, good night. Good night.
Good night, my dear. How art thou?
I'm doing well. My question is, as the Prime Minister states that the country has surplus of monies, there are monies or allowances that are given out to persons weekly, monthly. I'm not certain how it is being distributed. But my concern is, how long will that money be sustained for those persons? And if will it not be in the best interest of those persons who are earning this allowance to assist them in some way of earning for themselves, where they can have a better life, standard of living, and also that they can contribute back into the social security scheme. That's just my thought.
Well, can I say something to you? Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, it's a good point you have advanced, right? And the poverty alleviation program is really a social assistance program. It's a hand up. In other words, it's not intended to have somebody on the program infinitely or forever, right? It's because you had a COVID-19, for example. Lots of people were unemployed, and so they looked. And even before that, families had persons unemployed. So they looked at a family and a family earnings and accumulated. Once it's accumulated and is under $3,000, then you get the allowance. But the expectation is that as time progresses, they will come off of that program. So you're quite correct about the sustainability of the program. Are you there? Okay, we seem to have.
Okay, I am very glad that you responded in such a way as, from my listening, I made to understand, or it is being it is being shown to the public that this scheme is somehow for very long-term assistance. So I am very glad that you shed light to that, because it's obviously that persons are being misled then. I'm not sure if it is for political reasons, but I think that persons should know that this is not going to be for a long-term status.
Well, it's as long as it's needed. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, as long as I am very certain that there are many persons on that list who earn more than $3,000 monthly, and for whatever reasons they're on it. That's not my problem, but there are a lot of persons who should be getting it and are not registered for that program. So I think that there is a lot of adjustment that needs to be done, and don't use it as a political tool to get votes. As we know, the election is right here, and I guess it's left to be seen what happens after the 5th. And if the PLP party is successful, then we will see if the program is revamped and a lot of names are now withdrew from that list. So I guess it's left to be seen.
Okay. Thank you for your intervention. Very sound intervention, my dear.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And rightly concerned about the sustainability of the program, and we do agree with you. There ought to be some more policing of the program. But if someone is getting over $3,000 a month, that should be easily detectable, because the Social Security would have such information. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, I want to thank you for holding. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Okay, we seem to have missed that call, but it's now 9 before the 10 o'clock hour as we wind down tonight's programming. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Okay, seem to have missed that call again, Bimel. But we were talking tonight, people. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Yes, Patrick, let's go real quick. That wasn't me, but this is me.
Yes, sir.
Patrick, when you were doing your ambassadorial work, you did it professionally. And Dr. Harris is such a straightforward, clean-hearted man. I know if anything had gone wrong with you while you were from St. Kitts, Dr. Harris would have come and let the whole nation know that something is wrong with Patches. So nobody would have had to be wondering why the ambassador went out and see with some people in a boat. And up to now, no communication has been given back to the state where he is and what happened to him until now. So I am wondering if our ambassador that gone missing 1994 and started dead, if he went to buy paracetamol or he went to fish. Because Dr. Harris is such a clean man. So when Dr. Simon come on and ridicule Dr. Harris, let him know Dr. Harris' track record is clean and he don't hide nothing from nobody. And the last thing I'm going to send up is dispatches. Nobody in PLP will ever associate themselves with anybody from another country who dealing with drugs money and cannot say if they get in or if they get. Let them look on their own record. The Bible says, take the beam out your eye before you look in your brother's eye and tell the little mouth. Where are the good friends today? Why the good friend is arrested in America and drug money? That is, for time's sake, have a good night.
Have a good
I
night.
hope I get more time when you come back.
Okay, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, my dear brother. This message reads, Simmons has lost all respect. He has completely destroyed his legacy with that foolish and ridiculous statement he made yesterday. Shame on you, Kennedy, reads that message. As we wind down tonight's programming, if you have just joined us, my Straight Dog family, it's now or never. The time for decision making is on Friday, August the 5th. It's going to be our best or most important election in our country's history. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hey, Patrick.
So, yes, Jam.
I want to tell this country that the monument, the Christina monument, oh, it looks so lovely. Now, right here, over here, looking at it, right to the back of rock, by the Treasury Airport. God bless Dr. Harris. Harris again! A old man tell me to say 3 times. Harris again! God bless that young man. 50 years my people perish. Just about a mile off a Nagshead. Poor people between St. Kitts and Nevis. Going over to Nevis and they like to their patches, you remember? And Timothy, he thinks so much. Look where he was the monument. Right where moonlight was taking them off as he hunter off the small pier and bringing them. Got them on the pier, all in the treasure yard. I can remember the little boy. Watch you come up the bay. Banks in in khaki, red socks and brown shoes. Watching moonlight walk like a dog. God bless my good friend Cecil Robert. And God bless Timothy Harris. But then, when you finish, drive down here and look at that thing.
Okay, man.
It's beautiful.
Okay, got you.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Keep him. Hooray! It's got to be Harris again.
Yes, my
Have a good night.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. In the last 24 hours, the indecency of our only living national hero has befuddled, has confused the entire Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It has confused all of us because Kennedy Alphonse Simmons has clearly debased the office of national hero. His attacks on the Prime Minister, Timothy Sylvester Harris, is, it's so baseless because the entire country is aware of the performance of Timothy Sylvester Harris. He spoke of things that he do not know. I remember some years ago, he reminded me. I was at the Warner Park in the pavilion. I was then the secretary of the Football Association. And there was an international match between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and St. Kitts Nevis. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines took first blood. By that I mean, from a free kick, a ball came over, and I remember that good player from St. Vincent, Hippolyte, don't remember his first name, and he put it in the back of the net. And I heard a voice behind me said, offside, offside, offside. And as a referee myself, I reacted. I said, how you could say from behind here and judge offside? And I heard, the man is offside. When I looked around, it was then Prime Minister Kennedy Simmons, who himself was a referee. And I said to Simmons, Dr. Simmons, you cannot say from behind the goal and judge an offside. And he held his point. And that's exactly what he has done now, saying outside the cabinet and judging the Prime Minister when he is so far from the state of play. I was there when they colluded to remove unceremoniously Attorney General Juicy Vincent Byron. I was there. I was there when Sean Richards came to the Prime Minister's residence and he said that he has only convinced his colleagues that Attorney General Vincent Byron can only be appointed for 1 year. I remember the Prime Minister responding and saying, and I quote, I have full confidence in my Attorney General Vincent Byron. So when they said that only the Prime Minister went to Government House, or the Governor General's, Government House that is, for his swearing in, and not the Attorney General, it was the Saturday night before the swearing ceremony at Warner Park when Vincent Byron agreed to accept the Attorney General's position, accept the senatorial position and to be the Attorney General. Because he was distraught, of course. His own members of the People's Action Movement, whom he helped, Lindsey Grant, whom he worked pro bono on his own electoral matters in Constituency 4, turned against him, lifted up his heel against him, and wanted to crucify Vincent Byron. I was there when Lindsey Grant on telephone or via telephone said he was not attending the swearing-in ceremony on Sunday because he wanted to get the UDC, he wanted to have ports, and he wanted transport along with his tourism business, tourism portfolio. Lindsey Grant and Jordan Powell are the ones who took up their heel against the Prime Minister. Who helped them? Who helped them? And what has they done? What have they done now? Vilifying Prime Minister Harris. Taking issue because Harris goes to church. Now, come on. Kennedy Alphonse Simmons must know that the Almighty God is the absolute judge. He lived with someone who was attached to the Methodist Church. A deacon, I think she was, his first wife. So he ought to know that promotion cometh neither from the east, nor the west, nor from the south, but it comes from Almighty God, the absolute judge, who sets up and who puts down. So no Kennedy Simmons or no one can take down Prime Minister Harris if it's the will of God. And I believe it's the will of God that Timothy Sylvester Harris will be returned as the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. Because what is called for now is experience. Sean has disappointed all of us, even his strongest PAM supporters. And as I say now, and as I said before, when I say that Sean Richards is not fit to be a leader in this country, I am not attacking the members and friends of the People's Action Movement. I am just talking the facts. He is not. When a man can abandon his post as Deputy Prime Minister because, according to him, his name was in a police report, then that man is not fit or not worthy to be Deputy Prime Minister or Prime Minister worse yet in this country. Caller, you are live. I'm going to guide you by the rules of brevity. Can you take 30 seconds?
That is going to be quick. I'm going to be that is me dumpling jam down. You should be dumpling and jam down and others, Goya and all of those and others who was wrong them.
Yes.
We are come reject. We are come reject. That's why we come out and criticize them and crucify them and do what we want to do because we are come reject. God never want us. God let him move over, get kicked down. The man get kicked down from the village here. I used to go visit her. And she complained to me how Pam do. The Pam, Patches, 8 o'clock is ask me if you're Pam. How you could be a Pam? How you could be a Pam? She's the one start now. I could never believe that I know the Patches. Easy. I could never believe that easy. Because when they feel like they labor, I don't know what they carry out things, they victimize and bring them to people too much. I'm checking people about a job. That's why I could never be no labor. But I was a plan, and I see plan and labor got the same kind of intention. I was want to kick down people, keep people poor. Not Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris is the man for this country.
Okay.
And we're gonna live on with him until whenever we get fed up. That is our wonderful night again.
Have a wonderful night, my dear brother. And as we wind down, I want to say to you, come Friday, the people will decide. The people must decide. It's now or never. The People's Action Movement have become so desperate. They have lost what they had. And we must punish them. And I have not said much about Nevis, but we must punish Mark Brantley as well. Mark Brantley cannot manage anything. Mark Brantley is a waste of time when it comes to management. He has run the Nevis island economy on the brink of collapse. No wonder he's so desperate about these CBI funds. They talk nothing but lies. And I can tell you, my Straight Dog family, that we just cannot gamble with our future. We understand, having listened to our living national hero, that certain national awards ought to be given posthumously, ought to be given after death, ought to be given when one is dead. And Simmons, the only living national hero, is an angry man. He's angry because he wants to make unreasonable demands on the public purse. Imagine Simmons wants the country to pay him $15,000 a month, or the equivalent salary of a high court judge. Who is Simmons? The Pension Act. Give him what he deserves. Because he's national hero, he must get $15,000? Hell no, Dr. Simmons. Not at all. Simmons and the entire gang, Mark Brantley and Sean Richards, are nothing more, nothing less than greedy vultures. In a show of desperation, he has come and he has begged us, he has begged those, I should say, who have left the sinking ship of Pam to come back home. The aspiring leader of this country, Sean Richards, has lost it. Imagine, Sean Richards went to his nomination day riding a horse with a big hat like he's some colonial master. He has lost it, believe me. And I say to the people, they are desperate. Sean Richards has tampered with the course of justice in our land when he called the Commissioner of Police, Hilroy Brandy, and demanded that his name be removed from the police report. On public radio, Richards informed the nation that he received a letter from the Commissioner. I read the content of that letter, and part of it read, "Please be advised that it is not in my authority to alter any statement given to me by any of the officers under my command, sir. This will be unethical of me to alter any officer's statement." Imagine we give that authority as Prime Minister to Sean Richards? Hell no. But the kind of behavior that Kennedy Alphonse Simmons demonstrated when he talked about nepotism. But when the Commissioner of Brandy, by letter to his son, denied the request to allow him to import a firearm and 500 rounds of ammunition, Kennedy Simmons appealed to the Minister of National Security and Prime Minister and was refused. Prime Minister Harris refused to overturn the decision of the Commissioner of Police, and Simmons is angry. He's angry because the Commissioner wrote this to his son. I refer to your correspondence dated 11th December 2021. Please be advised, the Commissioner wrote, that I am of the considered view that you have not demonstrated sufficient justification for the granting of a firearm user's license to you. As a consequence, your request to import into the Federation one 3.38 pistol and 500 rounds of ammunition has been denied based on your antecedent drug conviction. Yes, I've received those clippings from the SKN Vibes about the then arrest and pending appeal. But my family, we know that's why Simmons is angry. And he fabricates all sorts of lies on the sitting Prime Minister. But he hasn't said one word about the corruption under Sean Richards. He hasn't said one word, not one word, about Lindsey Grant or Jonell Powell. He has held them up in high esteem for their behavior. And as I wrap, I want us to think clearly. Ignore Kennedy Simmons. Because under Simmons, people, there are some classes of persons in St. Kitts and Nevis that will be afforded greater privilege and merits, more consideration than another, by virtue of their political or ministerial portfolio. Under a Simmons-backed PAM CCM government, persons in St. Kitts and Nevis will not be equal or will not be entitled to equal protection of the law because of their color, class, creed, or their politics. So I have said to you tonight, my Straight Dog family, lest we forget, our federation has so far had 3 prime ministers after 39 years of independence. Our first prime minister was Kennedy Alphonse Simmons, under whom our country was labeled Devil's Island. Crime, dirty money, and drugs were prevalent in St. Kitts and Nevis during the Kennedy Simmons era. As co-founder of PAM, his legacy is nothing to be proud of, and many would agree. As his other co-founder of PAM was our first ambassador to the United Nations and ambassador to the United States of America. When the U.S. demanded his recall after it was found that he was a kingpin of drugs and money laundering before he went missing at sea, and to date has never been found. Denzel Douglas inherited some of the legacy left by Kennedy Simmons. The crime, drugs, and violence continued under our second Prime Minister, Denzel Douglas, who took our economy to the brink of collapse, then ran to the IMF. He swapped our land for debt. It was Prime Minister Harris who has so far repossessed 800 acres of land in the name of the people. We have received most of our patrimony back, thanks to Prime Minister Harris, who inherited a country that was labeled the murder capital of the world. And Prime Minister Harris turned that around. It took our third Prime Minister, Timothy Sylvester Harris, to save our federation and bring back dignity to our people. My Straight Dog family, this is a prediction of many. And I'm going to leave you with this prediction because my people, I may not be back with you till after election.
You know why many politicians in division respect that man, and I do respect that man for this. The way he stood up to Douglas. When everybody was cowering, he stood up to Douglas. The way he stopped the killing, it just went bam like that. The way he handled COVID, and the way he has managed the finances of the country. Thank you, Mr. PM. God is in control. Don't worry about a thing. The circus will soon be over. Have a good one and God bless you, sir.
Yes, my Street Dog family. Have a good one and God bless you as well. I've said it's now or never. Just to remind you that come Friday, the 5th of October, the 5th of August, beg your pardon, 2022, you must vote to ensure that our country stays on the right social, economic, and political path to continuing progress, especially in these difficult times. Our country was rescued by Prime Minister Harris from the deep ocean of debt. We found alternative methods to resolve the issues that cause rampant crime and violence, and we are still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. For those reasons, the decisions we make on Friday at the polls will determine whether we go backwards or whether we go forward and onward to a safer, brighter future. My people, it's now or never. I like Timothy Harris. If I perish, I perish, but I'll speak the truth. Simmons said he never supported unity. Simmons and Pam were never about unity. And we must punish them at the polls come Friday and make certain that they do not get back there. They are greedy vultures. Mark Brantley, Sean Richards, Lindsey Grant, and Powell and the gang. They are greedy vultures and must be stopped. And that's my story for tonight, and I will not change it. My time is done and I've got to run. Yes, I've seen many calls coming in, but my time is done and I've got to run. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. And as always, I want to thank the many of you who called. I want to thank all those who sent emails as well, my Straight Talk family. And just to remind you that you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. Until we connect on Monday after Election Day, the celebration may still be ongoing when Prime Minister Harris and his PLP team will be put into office to lead this country. Everybody said the same thing. PLP and Harris again. Bye-bye, my Straight Talk family. Until we connect on Monday, have yourselves a wonderful rest of the week. And be sober and do the right thing. Act maturely and intelligently, as one put it earlier on the program. I am Patches Liburd, and God's people will connect on Monday. Until then, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you've got to believe. Got to believe. So when you wake up in the morning, thank God for the morning light and thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
When I wake in the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mama